If you have been paying attention, we have learned that the number that's multiplied by x in a linear equation is the slope, and the number that's added or subtracted is the y-intercept. And that is a big deal because now we have an easy way to draw graphs without having to make a table. Before, you would have to make a table where you put x and y, then you make up some numbers for x, you use the equation to calculate y, then you connect the points. Remember all that? Well, we don't need to do that anymore because now that we understand the slope and the y-intercept, we can draw the graph of this equation without making a table. So I'm still going to make my x and y axes. I'm counting by ones, but I'm only labeling every two because that's a little bit easier. It's not quite as much writing, and it's still clear what everything is. So the y-intercept, remember, means the point where the graph crosses the y-axis. And the y-intercept is 3, but it's subtracted, so that means the y-intercept is actually -3. So I go to the y-axis and find -3, and I make a point. Now, if that's the y-intercept, that means that this graph, it's a linear relationship, so it's going to be a straight line, and it goes through that point. It's going to be a line somewhere through that point. I don't know what angle it goes up or down, though. But that's where the slope comes in. I know that the slope is 4. And remember, slope is the ratio of rise over run. So I want to make that a fraction if it's a whole number. So if the slope is 4 over 1, then 4 is the rise and 1 is the run. So from this point, I would just count up 4 and then run across 1. I would rise 4 and run 1. I know I'm going to go up and to the right because my slope is positive. And lines with positive slope go up and to the right. I'm going to go up 4 and 1 to the right. If it goes up to the right, it also goes down to the left. So I can get more points by going down 4, left 1. And I do that as far as I want. I do it all the way across the graph. And then I just draw the line. It's that easy. This line matches this equation. I can check my work. This is optional. I can check my work by picking a point on the line. Let's say that point right there is 2, 5. I can go to the equation. I can replace x with 2 and y with 5, and then see if it's true. 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 minus 3 is 5. That is true. And any point on this line, if you get its coordinates just by counting to the axes, it will make this equation a true statement. That is how I know I have the correct line. I'm going to do one more for you. Let's graph. I need to move my chair. I'm a little uncomfortable right now. There we go. Let's graph y equals -2/3 x plus 4. So pause the video and write down or keep in your mind what's the slope and what's the y-intercept, and make sure you know which is which. Pause the video. You should have said that the slope is -2/3 and the y-intercept is 4. Remember that the slope is always the number multiplied by x, and the y-intercept is always the number that's added or subtracted and not multiplied by x. Because sometimes we write it in a different order. Like I might have said y equals 4 minus 2/3 x. In that case, the slope would still be -2/3, negative because it's subtracted, and the y-intercept would still be +4. These two equations are equivalent. So the slope is always multiplied by x. The y-intercept is always added or subtracted. And if there's a minus sign, it's always stuck to the number after it. So the slope is not always first. It depends on which way it's written. Anyway, so these are two different ways to write the same equation. Let's draw that equation. The y-intercept is 4, so I make a dot at 4. The slope is -2/3. Negative slope means I'm going down to the right. And remember, rise over run. So my rise is 2, my run is 3. So I would go down 2 and to the right 3. I'm going down and to the right because that's what a line with negative slope looks like. And 2 and 3 because my rise is 2 and my run is 3. And I keep doing that as much as I have room for. And that gives me more points on the line. Well, if the line goes down to the right, it also goes up to the left. So I could also go up 2 and 3 to the left, up 2 and 3 to the left. That gives me even more points. And the more points I have, the better line I get, because I can line up my ruler all the way across the paper and draw a super neat, accurate line. There's my line. Boom, you did it.